now then, Joe Biden's expected to move quickly to transform US domestic and foreign policy through a series of so-called executive orders. Let's assess the president's priorities then with Jim Messina, the former deputy chief of staff for the Obama administration and campaign manager for President Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. Also joining me tonight is Susie Loftus, a former prosecutor and San Francisco community leader who used to work with Vice President Kamala Harris. Welcome to both of you. Great to see you. Jim Messina, let's start with you. What does it feel like for you then? Does it feel like the grown-ups are back in charge?
It does. It feels like the adults are in the White House now setting policy. It feels like a new day in the United States to put aside what has been the most difficult 4 years in our recent memory and go back to an old trusted friend, Joe Biden, who can hopefully bring us together in ways that our country desperately needs to come together. And it really felt like that this morning as we watched the new president get sworn in.
And Susie Loftus, we've just seen Kamala Harris obviously entering the White House, glass ceilings being shattered left, right and centre. How does it feel for you seeing her walking into that building?
Well, I think it feels, for me, the way it feels for so many women and girls and lovers of democracy across the world. It's incredibly exciting. I met her first when she was a deputy city attorney here in San Francisco. My daughters, I've raised 3 girls working for her as a prosecutor at the state and local level. They've sat in her chair. So for girls who've had to, I would say, withstand 4 years of Donald Trump as their president, today was a beautiful morning, and we celebrated intensely in our house.
I said earlier that Barack Obama was greeting people like a proud dad. Do you see this as an extension of his administration? Or has so much changed since then, the Trump presidency, the multiple crises that are facing America and indeed most of the world, that already, Jim Messina, life has moved on so much that you can't hark back to those 8 years where he was vice president?
I don't think you can harken back. We have challenges that we couldn't even imagine in 2009. We have the worst pandemic we've had in 100 years. We have the biggest economic recession in recent memory, and you have a country badly divided, so badly that the Capitol was, almost taken hostage by insurrectionists. But the good thing is Joe Biden has been through this. Joe Biden has been through an incredible, difficult time. I remember in the first 100 days of the White House in 2009, after the economic problems and the bond market crashing, at one point he walked into my office in the West Wing and Biden said, "Jim, what's next? Are we going to have locusts descend upon the crops? I mean, can it get any worse?" And so I think he's ready to take on these challenges. And he's really the person America needs right now, someone that both sides can get along with. When we were trying to get bills passed, we took Joe Biden up to Capitol Hill to negotiate, not Barack Obama, because Biden had the relationships on both sides of the aisle. And as your ambassador said earlier, that's exactly what the country needs to start putting together some of these bipartisan coalitions for a country that desperately just wants their government to actually work again.
Yes, he said, didn't he, time to end this uncivil war. But Jim, he also said that his mother would always say, put yourself in their shoes. There's 74 million Americans out there who didn't want him as president. What do you do with those people?
Well, I think he started out this morning by saying the right thing, which is, I will be your president too. And he's got to show it. Every day he's got to kind of, take down the temperature of anger in our country. And part of how you do this is just being honest and being a straight shooter who can do that. The other thing is just getting some normal stuff done. The country would love to see another stimulus bill passed. We have 11 million Americans out of work. They want to see these 100 million doses of the coronavirus vaccine delivered in the first 100 days as he promised. And those wishes are from every American, regardless of political party. And I think if he can get those two things done, people will do exactly what he asked them to do, which is just take a new look at him and say, he's my president too.
So, as we heard there, then, Susie, obviously, Joe Biden knows this job like the back of his hand, doesn't he? 8 years as vice president. So what extra does Kamala Harris bring to the table, do you think? I mean, energy is one thing, possibly, but what else can she offer, do you think, somebody who knows the ropes so well as Joe Biden does?
Well, she's uniquely positioned. It's rare in this country, more rare for women to be elected to positions of executive leadership. So district attorney, governors, attorneys general. She has really been an executive leader from the beginning of her career and been a first at every stage. So the first woman of color, district attorney in San Francisco, first woman of color, attorney general, which is the top cop for California, the nation state here in the United States. But interestingly, she took a turn when she ran and won a Senate seat. That was the first legislative spot. There's her swearing me in as a prosecutor. That was the first legislative spot she's had. And now isn't that fortuitous? Because she's the president of the Senate now. And with a tie of 50-50, she will be the tie-breaking vote. So she's actually going to be incredibly important as a partner to Joe Biden in the Senate. Obviously, we know that President Biden has his relationships, but Vice President Harris, it sounds so great to say that, will also be an incredible partner with him and making sure that all of our branches of government are working to address the COVID crisis, getting our kids back in school and restarting our economy.
Some lovely pictures there as we were watching of you with Kamala Harris. It's great to keep in touch with somebody who's now holding one of the most senior offices in the land, obviously. Jim Messina, you said that Joe Biden's role really is to take the temperature down, and we felt his empathy in his inaugural address today. But maybe I'm asking this from a media perspective. Is it all going to get just a little bit boring now?
Let's hope so. After 4 years, that's exactly what America wants, right? We want a little boring. Boring would be super good from what we've had the past 4 years. And partially why he won is he promised he'd be the anti-Trump. And so, if we could just get back to normal, boring government, Susie and I would be the happiest Democrats in the land, and the country would be incredibly well suited. We want to pass the UK free trade deal. We want to fix the coronavirus, and we want to fix our economy. Those are the things we want to get done. And if it's boring, Anna, we will be happy.
Well, we heard the showman, didn't we? AKA Donald Trump, 45th president of the United States, saying, I'll be back in some form at least. Is that just to keep the attention on him, do you think, Susie? Is there a possibility that he could decide to run in 2024 if he gets past, of course, his next impeachment, or the trial, rather?
Well, we do know that Donald Trump is quite skilled at trying to keep the attention on himself. And I think the work for all of us is to stay focused on the needs of this country and moving ahead with all of the solutions and undoing a number of the dangerous policies that Trump put in place. And so I do think while Trump will try to draw our attention, I think that there is plenty of work ahead for the elected leaders who are in power now. And we look forward to supporting them in doing that and avoiding the roadshow.
Well, Jim Messina and Susie Loftus, no doubt you'll be raising a glass to a bit of boring politics tonight after today. Very good to have you both on. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One person